Hey everybody, here's the explanation for the second math problem up on my website's SAT diagnostic test, the Math No Calculator section. Let's get right to it. The question says, Ryan and Allison build a ramp to help their elderly cat Sims walk up to their bed. They need the ramp to make a 35-degree angle with their bedroom floor. How long must the ramp be to reach the top of their bed that is exactly 3 feet off the ground? Now, if you're anything like me, by the time you get to the end of an SAT math word problem, you are completely lost. My mind wanders. I can't make it through the whole thing in one shot. So what I've learned to do is take it one sentence at a time, and actually sometimes one half sentence at a time. I've got to create a mental movie of what's going on. I've got to picture it. And then I write everything down as soon as it comes up in the problem. When I'm writing things down, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I've got to write things down to understand things. Okay, so I want to make that clear. I do not know where I'm going to end up when I start, but I need to start somewhere, and I need to start by doing something. So let's read this from the beginning. Ryan and Allison build a ramp to help their elderly cat Sims walk up to their bed. Now, first of all, there's no calculations so far, but I've got a mental image of what's going on there. So already I feel caught up, I feel clear. Then it says they need the ramp to make a 35-degree angle with their bedroom floor. This is where I start drawing. I have got to put pencil or pen to paper in order to see what's going on. I take SAT math sections all the time. If you look at my tests, they are completely marked up. That is one of the keys to success, is just keep writing things down. The other thing that I always tell students is to have your out of the gate move. What's the thing that you're going to do to just get you started? When you get started, you may not know where you're going. You may not know how to get to the end, but you need to make a move just to get started. You'll be surprised that once you make a first move, the second move becomes clear. And when you do the second move, the third move becomes clear. And by that time, you see how to get the answer. So this says they need the ramp to make a 35-degree angle with their bedroom floor going up to a bed. So I'm going to draw the bedroom floor. I'm going to draw the bedroom floor, and it says they've got a bed. So I'll make this like this is the front part of the bed right there. There's the backboard. Forgive me, I am not an artist, as you will see, but you don't need to be. And then they say they need the ramp to make a 35-degree angle. So the ramp is going from the floor all the way up to the bed. And they say this angle has to be 35 degrees. So see how I've already made a picture of what's going on. And if I had time, I would draw Sims, but we don't have time. Then it says, how long must the ramp be to reach the top of their bed that's exactly 3 feet off the ground? Well, they just gave us this side. This side equals 3, and I've got to write it. I've got to write it down. The bed is 3 feet high. Now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this. I'm looking for the length of the ramp. It says, how long must the ramp be? Well, they don't give that to me. So what are we going to do? We're going to come up with a variable. And X always works unless there's something better. Now, look at our answers. There's no numbers there except for that 3, which is the side of the bed. We've got signs. So what does that mean? That means that we have to know SOHCAHTOA. So let's take a little detour. Let me remind you of what SOHCAHTOA means, because on the SAT math sections, you cannot do very well if you don't know SOHCAHTOA. So here's what it is. So is S-O-H, ka is C-A-H, and toa is T-O-A. It sounds cuckoo, but it's an amazing device to remember the trigonometric functions. So S-O-H, what does that stand for? Well, S stands for sine, O stands for the opposite side, and H stands for the hypotenuse. C stands for cosine. A stands for the adjacent side. And H stands for, you got it, hypotenuse. T stands for tangent. O stands for opposite side, and A stands for adjacent side. So what does this all mean? What this means is that the sine of any angle in a right triangle, this only works for right triangles. Do I have a right triangle here? Yes, I do. I know that the bed and the floor, the leg of the bed, make a right angle. So for every right triangle, for any given angle, and in this case, this is the angle I'm focusing on, the sine equals the length of the opposite side over the length of the hypotenuse. The cosine equals the length of the adjacent side over the length of the hypotenuse. And when I say over, I mean a fraction. Okay, all of these trigonometric functions are fractions. So sine, we would write equals the opposite side, the length of the opposite side over the hypotenuse. That's what that means. The cosine equals the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And TOA, the tangent of any angle, equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. Please learn SOHCAHTOA. It's going to open up a number of free points for you on the SAT math. Let me just get rid of this for a second. So this is saying that how long must the ramp be? And I can see that I'm given answers with the sine function. So that must come into play. All we need to remember from SOHCAHTOA is sine equals the opposite side. So what's the opposite side of this angle? Well, it's literally the side, if you draw an arrow, that's directly across from it. So if I wrote down sine of 35, why am I writing that down? Because it's all I know, and I've got to make a move, equals the opposite side, which is 3, over the hypotenuse. So SOH, opposite over hypotenuse. Well, what's my hypotenuse? Remember that the hypotenuse is always the side directly across from the right angle. So my hypotenuse is X. So now I've got sine 35 equals 3 over X. I need to know what X is. So all I have to do is solve for X. Now, remember, this is simple algebra. If you get confused from here on out, you may need review of your simple algebraic functions. If you do, call me or contact me, text me, email me, and I can help you find a way to get brushed up on those fundamentals. So sine of 35 equals 3 over X. You know that anything by itself is really itself over 1. And when I have two fractions on either side of an equal sign, I can cross multiply. So 1 times 3, that equals 3. And then I write an equals the other crossway, X times sine of 35. And now all I have to do is divide each side by sine of 35 to get my X all alone. So if I divide each side by sine of 35, these cancel out, and I'm left with X, the length of the ramp, equals 3 over sine of 35. That answer is D. And there you go. So I hope that cleared things up for you. As always, if you have any questions, go to my website, mister-sat.com. Upper right-hand corner is my contact information. I'd love to help clear you up. All right, see you on the next problem.